Welcome to Ask the Professor. I'm your host, Professor Ben, and we get together for about 20 minutes every Wednesday, right now at 11:45 Eastern, and we talk about all things influence, from business to sales challenges. We cover all the important stuff. So glad you're here, glad you're hanging out with us, and Ari, glad you are here, keeping the show going as our producer. So appreciate you as always. And Allison, you're almost like a regular co-host now. You've
I know,
been
I
on the
love
show
it.
several times. I always get such positive feedback, so thank you for coming back. And for those of you who have not met Allison yet, Allison is the founder of Blue Outcomes and just an absolute expert when it comes to project and change management. So Allison, appreciate you spending your time with us today again. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me back. I love joining the show.
You know what? I believe that. I believe that. We feel it. We feel it. And so a few weeks ago, we started this conversation on change in the organization. And so many organizations right now are having to change, right? Because of what's going on in the marketplace or just the growth or AI. There's just so much pressure to adapt and change. And we feel the urgency as leaders, and we've got to make sure that we bring our team along to do that. So we've been pulling a lot of information from John P. Kotter's work, Harvard professor who has dedicated his life to studying change, understanding why change has failed, why it's successful. And he shared all that information with the public, and we're grabbing it and we're taking it and sharing it with you, and also adding all of our experience to that as well, so that you're not alone in this episode, at least when it comes to change and helping get your team moving in the right direction. So, Ari, we've covered a lot on this topic already. How can viewers find our previous shows, maybe, so they can get caught up after this episode?
Yeah, to find the previous episodes, you can go to our website at mybenchmarktraining.com and click over to the resource tab. And in the resources, we have a special tab for you guys called Ask the Professor Live. And you can find all the episodes that Allison was on, along with other guests that we have on the episodes.
Heck yes. And I know I'm a little biased here, but Ari, would you agree? mybenchmarktraining.com/resources is one of those pages people should like bookmark and use so they can go back and get all those complimentary resources that are available. I think it's a good idea. People need to do that.
Yeah, complimentary. Give me all of that.
Yeah, no joke. I mean, you have everything you need to run your business right there at the resource page. It's so cool. Really cool. So let's start with this. If you guys are okay with this, start with just maybe, Ari, if you've got it handy, the eight, you read my mind over here, right? The 8 reasons why change fails, whether it's projects or an organization, cultural changes. These are the 8 things that we want to stay away from. And I always raise my hand on complacency, because that's such an important factor. We got to build urgency there. We've gone through these, but let's start with number 5, because then we made it through 1 through 4. Is that right, Ari and Allison?
Yeah, we've already gone through the first 4. Let's see if we can get through the rest.
All right, that's our goal. Get through 5 through 8 today. Let's see what we can do. Let's just jump in. So number 5, if you've got that on the screen there, Ari, is let's see, empowering action. So empowering, Allison, like this one, I think probably gets on your skin like it does mine, right?
Yeah.
Change isn't happening. We got to make sure that we get the team doing what they need to be doing. And as a leader, if we're not empowering action, we're trying to put it all on our own shoulders. That's not going to work.
Yeah, it really does take a team. It takes a village to get change moving in the right direction. And I love my change champions. This is a great opportunity to empower your people to really be those change champions, those activists, the first line of support, and providing them with all the information that they need, and any tools that they need to really drive this change forward.
I think it's huge. And I see this with leaders that I get a chance to speak with. They almost set themselves up for this us against them when it comes to change. And when we have the conversation about empowering action, like, you actually don't have to do this alone as a leader. And actually, you shouldn't do this alone as a leader. Once you start bringing others in to champion this with you, the momentum's so much faster, and there's like this instant relief. And that is that's a key thing. So let's get granular on this one specifically. So if you're watching this, this is a time where, unless you're driving and watching it, unless you're driving, grab out a piece of paper, a pencil, grab some ideas here. So like one of the first things that we need to do, Allison, maybe you can elaborate on this, is start to figure out what are the bottlenecks? Where is the friction coming from in whatever change it is that we're going after?
Yes. And, sometimes it's as small as people just don't understand the goal of
Mm.
what we're trying to accomplish. And it could be something as simple as communication. That is a huge barrier in a lot of organizations, is just the lack of communication. So
Yeah, well, keep going.
I was gonna say, I recommend, what are your communication channels? Document those so you can have that always.
Yeah, so I thought we're supposed to do this, but really it's that. That could be a huge bottleneck and create a lot of friction. There could be so many others. And again, as leaders, you do not have to go do this on your own. You don't have to be Superman or Superwoman and try to figure out where the bottlenecks are on your own. Pull the team into this, whether it's an informal focus group, getting together over lunch or coffee, maybe a survey if your team's really large. Find out what they're seeing. What are the bottlenecks? Where are the friction points? And let's demolish those. Empower that action. And then also delegating responsibilities. Going back to, I don't have to do this by myself. As the leader, delegate the options, maybe even to experiment with ideas and trying things out. A little bit of trial and error can help build some ownership around those that maybe are hesitant to this change.
Yeah, and you'll be surprised who emerges as your next leadership, your next level of leadership. Really great opportunities.
That's a great
there.
point. Yeah, you're going to see under this stress, right, of change, because change is hard. Yeah. We're going to see these leaders, these future leaders rising to the top. So delegate those responsibilities, let them be creative, and then also be clear about what resources are available. Sometimes people might tiptoe into this if they're not sure, they don't want to get maybe their hand slapped. So here is be clear, we're going through this project change, we're going through this culture change. These resources are at your disposal. Go use them, right? Go make sure that we're pulling the team together. Empower all levels to be part of this change.
And I think it's really important here, since we are talking about barriers. A huge barrier that a lot of leaders don't think about when they're asking their team to incorporate this new change into their organization is the barrier of time. Are we allowing space for our team members to actually learn this, or use this new tool? Are their day jobs too compact where they can't really drive this change forward? So as part of that enablement, empowerment, let's be really cognizant of the fact that some people's time is a barrier. So how can we mitigate?
Time could be a huge barrier. I saw somebody also ask, what are some other barriers? Sometimes just capability. We talk about AI a lot, of course. Everyone's talking about AI, and maybe some of our team members are wanting to embrace it, wanting to see some change in the organization, but they're not really comfortable on how to use it. So sometimes just knowledge base could be a barrier. Technology outside of AI could be a barrier. A client that I'm working with, they're doing some big, great things from a technology standpoint, but some of the team members' computers can't keep up. So it's not that they don't want the new change. It's just that their computers can't handle the software that they're trying to use. And people have got to speak up. They got to share some of these challenges that they're having. So the barriers can be all over the place. And that's why, again, as a leader, we're not expected to go know all of this on our own. Go find out, go talk to the team, find out where the friction is.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, so let's see what's number 6 for us. Ooh, yes. Short-term wins, micro goals, building momentum. Allison, I see your face light up over there. Take it away.
This is one of the things that I think gets left out 90% of the time. Leaders have these great big ideas, and they're amazing. They're wonderful ideas. However, there is no benchmarks in the middle for us to really work towards. What are our micro goals? What is that moment like? What does that look like? What are those small achievements that, you know, we can win? Those little wins really bring that extra level of, you know, excitement and momentum to your team members. So if we can identify what those short-term goals are and what our milestones are in the middle, it just keeps that wave of energy and desire to accomplish that big goal.
That is such a big deal. And I'm going to raise my hand a little bit on this one because I know a lot of leaders do this. I used to do this. I was guilty of this. You have this vision in mind. It's a marathon, right? We're here now. We've got to get way over here. That's our plan. That's our growth change that we're trying to achieve. And when we have a small win, instead of celebrating it, we go, okay, yeah, we did great, but we've got so much further to go. We can't do that, right? As leaders, we have to embrace those small wins. We have to let the team know it's okay to embrace those small wins because the marathon is made up of many sprints that are going to get us to the end. So let's celebrate every single one of those small sprints that we do that will make up the big picture.
Absolutely. I love that's marathon analogy because I don't know if you are a runner, but I love running for medals. Like it's my favorite thing, but I need to get to that next mile and then there be like, you know, a rock band or some cheerleaders there that's going to like make me get to the next mile after that because it is tough. So let's make sure as leaders that we are celebrating the success and the wins of individuals. And call out the leaders, call them out and be like, hey, you know what, Jessica, I see you. You're doing a great job. That also motivates and helps empower them for moving forward.
So that's a t-shirt right there. So for leaders, be the rock band that gets your team to the next mile. Like that's such a great visual of where we need to be. And then also so we're talking about celebrating wins. So, hey, reality is, of course, not everything is going to be a win. We're going to fall a little bit, right? That's part of the change. That's part of taking risks. And so we can celebrate those as well. We can learn from them. We can help everybody get back up, brush off their jeans, and get the momentum going again. So yes, celebrate small wins. If there are those small losses that happen as well, don't just hide them, right? Let people know, okay, when you stumble, not if, we're going to help you get right back up and we're going to keep that momentum going. So if all departments can learn from wins just as much as they're learning from other departments' losses, we're going to move much faster.
There is this methodology in project management. It's the Scrum methodology. It's how we become agile. And at the end of a 2-week sprint, you have your retro. Now that retro is a time for everyone on the team, from the lowest level to the leaders. We're all in that room and we're talking about what worked, what didn't work, what are we learning from this, and we're documenting it. So when we take it to that next sprint, we have something that we are also, we're working towards the next sprint. So our micro goal, but we have these little bits that we're also improving. So by the end, it's going to get faster and faster and easier.
Yes. And if we have a culture that embraces those failures, learns from them, shares them across departments, now that failure maybe cost us a little bit of money. Most failures do. We're getting an ROI on that money that we just threw or we invested, right? We threw out the window in a fail. Now we can get an ROI on it because we learned from it. We got momentum back again. If you ignore the fail and act like it didn't happen, you did throw the money out the window, right? Because you didn't learn from it. That's a great point.
I have a comment from our LinkedIn. If someone achieves a goal in a short time, should they take the time to enjoy it or immediately set a bigger goal and focus on that?
Oh my gosh, Mohammed, that is such a great question. And I've got a little bit of a strong opinion on that. So, Alice, I'm going to let you go first because I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, just the perspective. So what's your thought on that, Allison? Thanks, Mohammed.
Take the time and celebrate it. So I put that in my core values as a company for Blue Outcomes. Our fifth core value, number 5, is celebrate success and foster that fun. So definitely take the time and just, sit in that energy for a little bit.
So there's so much right about that, Allison. There really is, and this is probably a downfall of mine. So, Mohammed, to give you my perspective on that is when you get a win, there's this surge, right? Dopamine and just excitement. Let's go get some more. So my thought is always, let's take advantage of that momentum. Whether you just closed the deal or you just saw the project get successful, a small part of it, a micro goal, go get more because you got the energy to do so. Now, warning, if you do that too often and you don't take Allison's advice and celebrate the wins, then you're going to wear out your team. So there's a combination here of, yes, you got to celebrate the wins and also capitalize on the momentum. So there's probably a fine way to do that for yourself and for your team.
Yes.
I love the difference of viewpoints on this. And I think it comes down to also disc styles. Allison, if I remember correctly, you're more of an I.
I'm a very high I.
Ben is a D style. So also taking into account that your style and also the team member's style. If you have a team full of I's and S's, they might want to enjoy that moment a little bit longer. Well, if you have C's and D's, they're probably going to be like, okay, what's the next step, guys?
That's a great point, Ari.
Yeah.
Definitely have to feed feel the energy of the room to make sure that it is the right level of celebration, for sure.
That is great. So the task focused people, right? The D's and the C's, like, hey, we just won something. Let's go do more tasks because that's just great to do. Is it or is it not? I don't know, but that's what we think at least. And then the people oriented are like, we just completed a task. Let's go get with our people and celebrate. And again, they're both right? Capitalize the momentum, and you've got to take care of the people. You've got to celebrate those wins. That is, we don't want to be blind to that. That's super important.
Yeah. Since we are still on this topic of short-term wins and we're talking about the micro goals, I would not do the community correctly if I didn't say, hey, there are ways you can track your micro goals in a ways that are free and visual for, it hits all your disc styles. Big fan of Trello, you guys. Put up some Kanban boards so you can, really start, talking through what your goals are, how are you going to achieve them, and you can watch it progress throughout the entire project.
So yes, visual learners. Most of us are visual, and when we can see it and we can track it and we can put our hands around it, we feel better with that. That's a really important point. Know your team, right? Know your team's disc styles, know their learning styles, know who you're working with, have conversations with them. What's going to get them charged up?
Yes.
Yeah, love that. Well, let's go to number 7. How are we doing on time? Oh man.
I know we have
Okay.
so much more to cover, and we just continue to talk about so much good stuff that time flies by so quickly.
Time does fly by. So let's see how long we can just squeeze this out. Well, okay, so we're at number 7 and we got number 8. Maybe what we do, so let's not rush this. Okay, so unfortunately we're running out of time. Let's not rush this because Allison, you've got so many great tangible tools for us, things that we can now just take and implement right away. We don't want to rush through 7 and 8. We'll pick back up next time we have you on the show. And for those of you that are just chiming in, of course, you can watch the recording of this live and also go to our website, mybenchmarktraining.com/resources, and you'll have access to all the previous shows as well, all complimentary. So jump on there. Bring your pencil and paper so you can take notes. And then, of course, meet us next time so we can get through the rest of this list and provide some great tools that you can implement right away as a team lead. Allison, Ari, it's been real. Thank you guys so much, as always. And Ari, I think we got some rockin' music that we can listen to on the way out. and then we'll all get back to work.